Hello, welcome to the episode 2 of the Ellis Highlight Reel Podcast. This is Brandon Ellis, your host again this week. It's a little later, than I wanted to record, but had to do some things today. I feel like nighttime podcasts are going to be my thing, so let's get it. Let's recap the draft. Start with the recap of the NFL draft that happened last weekend. Good draft overall. Great talents got drafted, like Joe Burrow, like I said, was obviously number 1. Redskins drafted Chase Young at number 2. We all knew that. It went chalk most of the way with Okudah at 3. The Giants made the shocking pick of drafting Andrew Thomas from Georgia at 4. That was a pretty shocking pick right there, considering Isaiah Simmons was still on the board, who went to Arizona at 8. Good value for them at 8 for Arizona to get Isaiah Simmons, and he's going to ball out for them. Arizona's a sleeper team. But we're going to go into NFC East. We're going to talk about the NFC East and what they did in the draft overall. Starting with my Philadelphia Eagles. 21st pick, we picked receiver was starting to fall. Receivers were falling left and right. Ruggs was the first one at 12 to Las Vegas. That's a great pick for them. Then Judy fell to Denver at 15. Then there's swirlings of Atlanta might trade with Philly to get CeeDee Lamb. Hopefully, the time was running down, and then they go A.J. Terrell at 16, which meant Dallas at 17 took CeeDee Lamb at 17. It's crazy. So, with the 21st pick, Eagles surprised a lot of people on Thursday night and took Jalen Reagor from TCU. There was speculation and reports earlier in the week that Howie Roseman was talking to TCU head coach Gary Peterson about Jeff Gladney, who the Vikings traded back in to took, and Reagor. And we took Reagor. So Reagor has 4.4 speed at the combine, but that was his water weight speed. He ran a 4.22, 4.28 at his pro day. So I rounded up to a 4.3 speed, and he was outside versatility. While Justin Jefferson, who was another option in that pick, and a lot of people like him at that pick instead of Reagor, had a 4.39 speed. But the main concern with Jefferson was he only can play to the slot, while Reagor can play outside, inside, slot, X receiver, wide receiver. He can play all three, and that's what we needed. And I like the Reagor pick. Days looking at the tape, Reagor is going to be a good receiver in our offense for Carson Wentz, providing that deep threat, along with Deshaun Jackson and a couple other receivers I will mention in a little bit. The next thing I want to get to is the 53rd overall pick. Probably the worst pick that we made all weekend for the value of the pick. I love Jalen Hurts as a player. That's who we picked, Jalen Hurts, former Alabama, Oklahoma quarterback. I love Hurts as a quarterback. He was a great quarterback, great leader. Had his best season at Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley. And when you look at Jalen Hurts, he's a good quarterback, but you could have got him 3rd, 4th round maybe for what Philly needed him for, not the 2nd round. And I felt like you could have got Christian Fulton from LSU. That's who I probably would have took. Good corner. Have another outside corner to go with Darius Slay, which we didn't address in the draft at all. It's corner. Also, Denzel Mims was still there too. There's a lot of good players that were still there, but we took Jalen Hurts. Hopefully they know what they're doing with it, but we'll see. Jalen Hurts is going to be an Eagle, and we just have to accept that as Eagles fans. But I love the player. I just didn't like the pick. And I still hesitant about liking the pick, but I like the player. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Excited how Doug Peterson can integrate him in this offense. And we'll go from there. 3rd round, Davion Taylor from Colorado, linebacker. He's more of a prospect, but I love the speed and the instincts that he has, and I think he could be a good linebacker for this defense for years to come. Fourth round, Kavon Wallace. Probably the best pick we made is Kavon Wallace from Clemson. The last time we drafted a Clemson safety, he made a Hall of Fame, Weapon X. So we're going to love it. Another thing is, too, I love the fifth round picks, too. Oh, we also drafted Jack Driscoll from Auburn in the fourth round, too. Tackle. He's probably going to play guard, so it's one of those things. I love the fifth round pick of John Hightower from Boise State. More speed. That was the theme of the draft, is speed at receiver. Sixth round, 2 picks there. Sean Bradley, inside linebacker from Temple, is the first one I'm going to talk about. He, local guy, so he knows the link. He knows how to play there. And another linebacker prospect that can run. That was the theme of this draft, getting speed everywhere. So that was the theme. And then Quez Watkins from Southern Miss was the other 6th round pick that we got. I love that pick. It's great value. 4.35 speed. For a 6th round pick to get that 4.35, but he's going to be a prospect. All these, it's going to be a prospect. But I love the fact that we got speed in this draft, and hopefully he makes a spot. But the undervalued thing about that 6th round or day 3 was, too, another great thing about day 3, we traded with San Francisco to get Marquise Goodwin for just swapping 6th round picks. That's a great thing right there. And I love getting that speed at receiver in this draft via trade or drafting speed. We added 4 great speed guys go along with Deshaun Jackson to create any combination of that is a great 4x100 relay team. So that's going to be exciting. Our others, I think we had one more 6th round pick from Auburn. And another tackle from Auburn. His name is Prince Tega Wanago. Prince Tega Wanago from Auburn. That's a great pick right there. He's a great value tackle. Could be another swing tackle for us like Vaitai was. Halapaludi Vaitai, who got a big contract this offseason, to go to, I can't remember where he went, but he got a good contract being a swing tackle for us the last couple of years and got a starting job now. So I'm happy for him. So now I'm hoping Prince can develop to the next swing tackle. In the 7th round, we finally with our final pick, we drafted Casey Toohill from Stanford, the end. It's going to be a prospect guy there. We just didn't feel like edge was a big deal. So, as Ruben Frank thought it was going to be a bigger deal, but we drafted him in the 7th round. So, hopefully we can get another edge player in this, free agency, and, we'll go from there. Dallas, now the Dallas' draft. Other than CeeDee Lamb, I feel like they had a good draft overall, too, dressed in defense. Trevon Diggs from Alabama, Stephon Diggs' brother, was the 2nd round pick. They had great value in that pick, and they had great value in the guy from Utah, the defensive end. I'm trying to remember his name real quick. Great value. Bradley Anai. That was a great value pick right there. And then Neville Gallimore was their 3rd round pick from Oklahoma. Those 2 picks right there go along with CeeDee Lamb. Great value in those picks. And then Dallas also drafted a certain quarterback that represented my school, Ben DiNucci, in the 7th round. I'm happy for Ben. I'm not going to be rooting for his team. But if he has success and he's still on Dallas, I'll be hoping, he gets an opportunity one day. It's still Dak's team, but, it's great for Ben. And they also signed Rondell Carter too in the as a UDFA too. So they got great JMU players, and I guess Jerry was at the Frisco game. Maybe that's how he saw them. I looked at them. He maybe went to that Frisco game when they lost, but I say jokingly. But I love those. I mean, Ben has his ups and downs. That's why he was a 7th-round quarterback. His turnovers, crucial turnover in the FCS National Championship, down late, try to tie the game. Would have had to get a 2-point conversion anyway, but through a pass that he thought was going to get there, but he lollipopped it, and North Dakota State guy made an excellent play on the ball. So Ben's going to have to improve that if he wants an opportunity in the NFL, but we'll see. I'm happy for Ben, though. I'm happy for Rondell. John Dacca as well, that went with the Ravens, and then Dylan Stapleton went to Houston. So I'm happy for all the JMU players I got either drafted or signed with the team. Hopefully they can join the next, crop, the crop that's already in the league right now. So for those JMU guys, I'm ecstatic. Going to the Giants now. I think I said all I need to say about Dallas. Dallas had a good draft. They're going to be competitive with Philly in the NFC East, but I just don't think they did enough to keep up with us. So going on to the Giants. Going to the New York Giants. Other than that Thomas pick was a good pick. I just didn't think, I think they could have had a better tackle in that situation if they were going to go tackle. There was the Tristan Wirfs who got drafted by Tampa Bay. There was the Alabama one for that Cleveland drafted, and then Mekhi Becton that the Jets drafted. I feel like Mekhi Becton probably will be the best tackle out of those crop of guys, other than Wirth. I think Wirth and Becton are in the best situations. Wirth obviously playing with a legend and Tom Brady. And Mekhi Becton, going to the Jets, hopefully that offense can get revamped with Sam Darnold playing the whole year. But it's an interesting pick for Andrew Thomas. Big guy, good speed on him. Well, not speed, but good instincts at the left tackle position. They got the steal of the draft, in my opinion, with Xavier McKinney at 36. That's a steal of the draft. In my opinion, just because it's perfect value, and he was a 1st-round safety that Dallas probably should have took instead of CeeDee Lamb, but Jerry went with his board. He had CeeDee Lamb as the best receiver on his board. He was going, sexy pick. Jerry likes to make the sexy picks when he's by himself. If he had his son there, his son would have been like, no, we're drafting safety. So anyway, but Xavier McKinney is going to be a good player for them. Matt Parrott, 3rd round, UConn, O-tackle. That's a good pick for them too. Other than that, a lot of the guys on here are interesting players, interesting prospects. We shall see what they do with them, but I still think they're the 3rd best team in the division behind Dallas and Philly. Now we're going to go down to Washington. After Chase Young, that's the best prospect. I think he's the best player in the draft. Over Burrow, over the core, anyone. Chase Young's the best. Was the best player, obvious pick. Then you have questionable picks throughout the rest of it. 3rd round they go Antonio Gibson. He could be a good slot, but they already have good receivers, good depth of receiver, and they drafted another receiver too from Liberty, Anthony Gandy Golden. He's an athlete. He was in gymnastics before. He's a great receiver, but does the Redskins need receiver? I don't know. Not the best need fit there. But you can't help but add more talent for Haskins in this new offense under Rivera. Another Redskins pick before that was Sadiq Charles for LSU. He's probably going to be the Trent Williams replacement, since they traded Trent Williams on day 3 to the 49ers. They traded Trent Williams to the 49ers for, I think, next year's third round pick, and then a fifth round pick this year. This past year. And I think they took Ismail with that pick, center from San Diego State. Oh, no. They had two picks at fifth round. So Ismail from San Diego State, and then the pick, I think the pick from the Giants, or from the 49ers, actually, my bad, was the Hudson pick. Khalil Hudson from Michigan, linebacker. I mean, like I said, the Redskins are getting players. And they're going to get some players. They're going to have a nasty D-line again. They always do. That's how they build, under Rivera. That's how he's always built his teams, on defense. That's where he came from in Philly. He was a defensive guy in Philly under Andy Reid. So, it's not a shocker there. I like their UDFA signing of Randy Moss's son. That's a great signing. Right there. Great signing. Unfortunately, I think the reason he didn't get drafted was that he had an injury issue. And they couldn't get, the medical staff couldn't, check up on him. And they needed tight end. They needed a tight end. So that's a good steal for them in the UDFA market. And probably the best UDFA signing, too, I would say, for the Redskins. So, with that being said, I still think the Eagles will be number one. Not biased. Not trying to be biased saying that. I just don't feel Dallas had the right addressing needs with, the draft. Did they have the better draft technically than Philadelphia? Yes. With the better players, better value for the picks, they did. But do we know that they're going to be successful right away? I don't know. Because I feel like with the Eagles, you get Darius Slay, and then, Nikhil Roby-Coleman. That's going to take a lot away for Dallas. So we'll see how it goes for Dallas down the road. I still think Philly has the better coach, better quarterback, better front office. If you have those three, you're going to win a lot of games. I'm not going to say like some Eagles fans pages were like, oh, we have the best two quarterbacks, and I'm not saying that. Dak's good. Dak's a good quarterback. I'm not going to, poo-poo Dak. I feel like, the Dak's contract situation, too, is going to hurt him a lot, too, down the road. So we'll see. There's a lot of things I love about, the Eagles draft, and a lot of things I hated about the Eagles draft. I could say the same thing about Dallas's draft. Not the right focus on the first-round pick, but they got the best guy they could at the first-round pick. So we'll see. We'll see in 2020 who wins the division and what it takes. So there's a lot of things I love too, So going on to the next thing I want to talk about tonight, Last Dance. Episodes 3 and 4 came out. You learned a lot about Dennis Rodman. In episode 3, it tied around him. And he loved the fact of being that second guy when Scotty wasn't playing early in 98, or 97, 98, when Scotty was on that sabbatical because he didn't want to be traded and all that. Rodman thrived in that role. And then when Scotty came back, he realized, oh, I'm back to being third reel. So he needed a vacation. Going to Las Vegas what the team said 48 hours. It was, I think when it counted down, it was like over 80 hours before Michael Jordan got him. And he was in bed with Carmen Electra, of all people. So that's Dennis Rodman for you, man. It's crazy. But when he came back, they ran an Indian drill. So basically what the Indian drill is, I didn't run it when I played basketball, but I've heard of it. So basically what the Indian drill was, a group of guys would, you're running a lap, right? If someone's ahead, you can't stop until you catch up to the person ahead. So it's like you keep on running. Dennis, coming off like all that stuff that he did in Vegas, like booze and drugs, whatever, he came back and he outran the Bulls for 4 laps before they caught up to him in that drill. 4 laps. That's crazy. It is a crazy thing. And then episode 4 got into more of the Bad Boys drama. And at the end of episode 3, you got into the Bad Boys, and then episode 4 tied it up when the Bulls beat them in the 91. And the big drama with that was, 91, they didn't shake the Bulls' hand, but the Celtics did the same thing to them when the Bad Boys beat the Celtics in the 88 Eastern Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Finals. The Bird, McHale Celtics they did the same thing to the Isaiah Thomas, Lambeer, Rodman, Bad Boy Pistons did to the Bulls. So I guess that their reason of justifying it. Not great sportsmanship, but, that's what the Bad Boy Pistons were. It's one of those things, too. I love the series so far. I'm looking forward to episode 5. There's an interesting shot that it's going to make me cry when I see it. MJ talking to Kobe for one of the first times. And speaking of that, too, Dwayne Wade is working on a Redeem Team. 2008 Redeem Team documentary, which I can't wait for that one to come out too. So hopefully that's going to live up to this one. But so far, this one's been great. I've loved every minute of it. I hope episode 5 and 6 keep on living up to the hype. Props to the director for getting the interviews he needed. He said Rodman was like interviewing a cat. It's like crazy. Rodman was a difficult interview for him to get, but he got it. So it's awesome to see that. My last topic for today, I'm going to talk about is the potential of sports coming back. First, the NBA practice facilities will be opening on May 8th. I've heard for some teams. In situations where it's laxed and stay-at-home orders, the Lakers are trying to get theirs opened early too, because I think California has their stay-at-home order till May 15th, but the Lakers want it open early so they can take advantage of more practice time, the extra week of practice. So hopefully we can get NBA basketball back in July. That's what we've been hearing. Speculation from the top analysts right now is July. And then another, MLB too has proposed a new plan of division realignment for 2020 so we can play just having East, West, and Central divisions. With that, just 3 divisions. Not having AL, NL, just doing away with that for 2020. I like that idea. Better than the Arizona coop up in Arizona idea. I love the idea of having the 3 divisions. They take the Braves out of the East and put them in the Central. They put Pittsburgh from the Central to the East. So that's probably the one change you'll notice if you look it up. Is Pittsburgh not in Central like they normally would be, and Atlanta's not in the NL East like they know, like in the East bracket like they normally would be. They're doing it by regional travel, so that's an interesting perspective to put into if they actually go through with this proposal. And then the NFL is also working on a contingency if the NFL can't start back up in September. October is what they're looking at for opening day in this contingency plan with a February 28th Super Bowl. If that's the contingency plan they have to do for the NFL, great. Longer football, that's fine with me. A lot of good things can come from this. This coronavirus is no joke. As we all know, right now we're just all cooped up in our homes. I get to go to work every day at the grocery store, and it's a scene. I never would thought I would see masks everywhere, like everyone wear a mask. I never would thought I would see that. But it's here, and we just gotta deal with it one day at a time. and I love, the draft brought the draft and Last Dance brought excitement back to sports, and I hope we can get everyone back, and we can play basketball, get an NBA champion this year, and we can, get baseball going at least through the summer, and I hope NFL and college football can play. With fans. The difficulty with college football right now is they want to do it with fans, and I just don't see that happening. Just because it's going to be a lot, trying to play with fans, and it's going to be tough. But we'll see, and I hope this is going to be a enlightening podcast for y'all. I just gotta figure out what more topics to talk about, but we'll see. Might speculate on best, who's gonna be the best team coming back from the NBA next week. If the NBA comes back, who will be the best team coming out of it? We'll talk about that maybe in next week's episode. Best baseball player out there today, obviously it's Mike Trout, but we'll debate. I'll debate a couple of players and we'll see why I think Trout's the best. Just to preview a couple of ideas too. If you want me to talk about something, leave it in the comments below, and we'll see. I'll think about it. Hopefully, I can get a good thing going. I feel like last week's episode was a good episode. Good response from it. More response would be great too. But it's an early podcast, it's the early stages of this podcast, and I'm thankful that I can do this for you guys, that I'm healthy, and, so I'm thankful for everything, and thank y'all, and good night, and I'll see y'all next week around this time for another episode of the Ellis Highlight Reel Podcast.